Hello peeps, Hillbilly Halfwit. How are you today? We got a funny story for you today. I was talking to my missus before and she reminded me of one. And it was when I was working on the building, putting up steel frame sheds. I won't mention the boss's name at the time. Oh fuck, it was funny. We went to do a steel building, farm shed, and there was no electric there. So when you put the steel sheeting on the roof, I hope the sheep won't run towards me now. When you put the steel sheeting on the roof, you have to put them on with tet screws, they're called, and they usually put it in by drill. So because they were going into wooden purlins, I said to him, how are we going to get these tet screws in properly? And he was in a bit of a funny mood, like, and he said, we're going to hammer them in. So we had done this before, hammering them in, but this was a whole roof, and it's a bugger to hold them with your thumb because they got little washers on. Oh, sheep are coming now. Because they got little washers on, and they got like 8mm heads on them. So when I was hitting them in, I was using my normal carpentry hammer, and he was saying, you're not hitting them hard enough. And I said, I'm going to hit my finger. I said, I know, I can feel I'm going to hit my finger. So I said, I'm just hitting them as hard as I can hit them. So what I was doing, I was just giving them a couple of taps to get them through the sheet, and then give them a wallop. You're taking too long, that's what I was having. You're taking too fucking long. Yeah, use this hammer. And what he got one of these great big hammers that they used to use for putting stud work up in America. And it got like a little serrated edge on the bottom of it. So there's a big old bottom of it like that, but it had cross hatching on it. And it weighed I don't know what the hell it weighed. It was a heavy bugger, like. It was good for hitting purlins and things, but not for delicate stuff. He said, yeah, use this. He was shouting and bawling. I said, no, I'm not fucking using that. I'm going to carry on as I am. And he was not happy. He said, use this. I said, no, I'm carrying on as that. So there he goes. He started to use this big hammer. I can see it now, it's a big blue handled hammer. First 5 or 6 went for really grand. Next thing, ah! Oh, he hit his fucking finger so hard. It was flat. He'd split it open because he hit it so hard, because he was going boom, poof, like that. He had split his thumb clean open, and it was flat like a comedy cartoon thumb, and it got these marks on it from the bottom of the hammer with cross hatching. And I looked over him while he was fucking screaming. I just burst out laughing. Oh my god. He went berserk, absolutely berserk. So I said, oh, I think I prefer my method. Like, that did not go down well, I can assure you. Anyway, he was determined now to carry on, even though his thumb was split in really bad way. Like, he was determined now to carry on and not look unmanly. Go and get something over it. So off he goes, carries on again. Another 5 or 10 screws in. Ah! He hit his finger so fucking hard in exactly the same place. Oh my god. Boy, that was funny. Oh, he's a nice old boy. He always paid me well. Boy, he had a temper. Hell of a temper. He was good. away from work, but when he went to work, he turned into a bit of a really hard boss, you know. But he always paid me fairly, you know, good money and everything. And there was another time, once you get used to what you're doing, my job was to put in the gable end of these steel frame buildings. So once, because you had to weld in everything level where the doors and stuff used to be. So once we got to a certain thing, because you were literally running around the site to try and get everything done, because the prices were so tight on these sheds, you sometimes you wouldn't have dinner all day, and that's how it was. Anyway, so there was 3 or 4 doors going in the end of this one building. So remember, you've got to get them all level, and you've got to weld them in and weld the hinges in, and they were all different heights. One big 14 or 15 foot up, about 12 foot high, and that sort of thing. It's a job to get it all sussed out on your own, but you get a system and you can go to, like, and you know you can't go any faster than that. So that's what I was doing, and I'd find the places to get the cleats, and then I'd weld them on, and then put a, what was it, 3x3 purlin on there, I think. Can't remember now. Anyway, and then I'd put the sheeting down to these purlins. So you might have a stepped roof like this. So it'd be higher in the middle, and the 2 doors on the side are a bit lower. And because this building was quite wide on the gable end, I was behind. So he said, "Haven't you cut them sheets yet?" He came in there swearing and cursing, absolutely going nuts. He used to like to go nuts every so often. And I said, "I haven't had time." I said, "I haven't had time. I'm welding these things in here. And you know, if they're out, you can see them a mile off. Come on, girl." So he said, "Look, I've marked them out over there." So these sheets were serrated sheets with air holes in them, louvered holes in them. Very expensive. And he'd laid them on top of each other. So instead of cutting them one at a time, he wanted me to cut the lot in one go at their set angle, see? But I wasn't doing that. What I usually did was I put them up and then cut them off at the top, if I remember right. I can't quite remember now. We'd got this system where we were putting them up straight against there and cutting them off at the top, and then that angle could go on the other side. That's how me and his brother was doing it. It took a little bit longer, but it wasn't no offcuts or anything. But anyway, he laid them up on top of each other, all in a stack on the floor, and he said, "I've marked the line, you cut them all off on that line with a 9-inch grinder and start putting them up." So I'm not going to lie, mate, I was really behind, because I got both ends of this shed to do. And here he came back again about 5 minutes later. "Have you cut them?" I said, "No, I haven't cut them." So he went over and he cut them with a 9-inch grinder, and he went to start putting them on the shed, and they were all at the wrong angle and too short. We could only use half of them. Oh, he went fucking berserk. Absolutely fucking berserk. He started throwing the sheets around, and then the wind caught the one, and it whooshed it back, and it cut his his thumb. A really massive gash in his thumb. And he had to go into the farmer's house and have a bandage put on it. So when he came back out, obviously, you know, he's bleeding like hell, and I'm like, "You all right?" He said, "That's your fault, that is." I said, "How's it my fault? You fucking measured them, not me." He said, "You should have cut them." I said, "Yeah, but you measured them." You measured them wrong and you cut them yourself. How can you blame me? He said, if you'd have measured them, I'd have fucking sacked you, he goes. I said, well, I didn't measure them, did I? You measured them. I probably should have kept my mouth shut. But you know what I'm like. So he basically lost the plot then. I went mad as a lunatic. And I think I left about 2 weeks after. I went on the timber again. Pity, I actually liked that job. I really did like that job. But there's only so much you can take, as the old boy says. And Gaz had reached his limit. No, we were working in this job up in, where was it by? Up above Welshpool. What's the next place up from Welshpool? And we were travelling there every day, and it was taking us stupid hours. Because it was taking you an hour and a half to get there and an hour and a half home, working all times of night. And what happened to me my last day there was that we'd done everything we were supposed to do, and genuinely me and my mate, his brother, thought we were finishing and going home then. So we started putting things back in the, we'd put all the drinking troughs and everything in the building, all the doors were hung, everything was basically done in the building, and Cole was putting the water, plumbing the water in, and I started to put stuff in the van, and he came back and he went bonkers, absolutely bonkers. That was the same week he cut his thumb. And he said he's got everything out of the van and started chucking it around the shed. Chucked his shovels around the shed, and he said, we're not going home yet, we've got to put all stone around the outside yet. This was 7 o'clock at night, and I'd been up at 5 o'clock in the morning. And it started going off on one, and I said, well, why didn't you say that? I thought we were going home. I genuinely had no idea that we were. I would have happily helped otherwise. So we carried on then. He was sat in the forklift bringing stone around while I was spreading it with a shovel around the outside of the shed for 2 hours. And I remember saying to Colin, I said, that's my last fucking day here. And that's what happened. I decided I never went back again. I don't mind hard work, but not when somebody's being arsey for no reason. So that was my last day there. And I actually loved that job. But, I don't know why you went so potty that day, but there we are. But there we are. There's a lesson, don't go potty with me, or so you can stick a job up your arse. That's the way I look at it. So, there we are. Onwards and upwards. All the best, Gaz.